My great-grandfather purchased the bank in 1953 from another family from Carnegie, and man, we've just been bankers ever since. I'm a fourth-generation banker. My father was the president and CEO before me. Before him, it was his father, and then my Uncle Bob was the second president of the bank back in the 50s or 60s. So I was born in 1982, but we've talked a lot about the history of the bank and kind of, you know better how to handle current situations by knowing the hard times that you've been through. And my grandfather was the president and CEO at that time. He was very conservative, didn't get involved in a lot of oil and gas deals at that time. And our community, we didn't loan outside of that community at that time at all. I mean, so the fact that that community could support itself through that, big bust, we weren't involved in a lot of the Oklahoma City deals and stuff like that. So the community was self-contained away from a lot of that. I mean, there's fallout for everybody, but just, steady hand. So the plan for the Bank of Carnegie is the same plan that it's had since 1905. We are going to keep it open, continue to service that local community, continue to help people buy their cars and purchase their homes and farm their land. And that bank will always and forever serve the same purpose. And each additional branch that we add, and we plan to add more branches, will specifically target the communities that they're in, because that's the way the banking is supposed to be. My philosophy, and I really believe that there should be community banks that service certain communities, but the environment that we are in now in banking, big banks can open up a bank anywhere they want, come in, cut rates, try to push other banks out. There's a lot of regulatory expense that came along with the big crash in '08. So because it was necessary to diversify the portfolio and to grow, the market does not suit well very small community banks because there's so much regulatory expense, so much overhead with updating your software and systems and having expert bankers to deal with everything that banks have to deal with now. So it's very important for us to expand into a larger market so we can continue to grow and compete with bigger banks and be able to offer that personal service that big banks just don't offer anymore. Banks are very stiff and uncomfortable to walk in. These big banks spend millions of dollars, putting in their mahogany pillars and their marble countertops, and it's just so old school and old fashioned. And you go in, you sit in an uncomfortable chair, and you feel uncomfortable about the experience. You're giving someone the intimate details of your personal financial life, and it's uncomfortable all the way through. So we wanted to build a space that was extremely comfortable for customers. We play ping pong in here, we serve coffee, we have music playing, we hang out, and we do a lot of different things that make the customer actually want to be here instead of feeling like they have to be here. And this is kind of the cool back of the bank that we have here with the coffee bar, and we've worked with some local coffee people to put some really cool things in place so we can serve quality coffee that you'd get at an artesian coffee shop. And you'll see, we have electric scooters, and end of the day we'll play some ping pong. If a customer wants to play some ping pong, we'll play, and just different fun things to create a better atmosphere that, again, people want to be in. We redesigned this space and this coffee bar almost a dozen times, I feel like. Sure, Jeremy Gardner loved that, but he stepped in and really did a cool design the exact way that I had it in my head. And you'll notice that everything is built on a circle. So the golden tree and everything is built around it in a curvature, including the shape of the bar, including the shapes of the walls. So everything is circular.
Why is that?
Well, part of it goes back to my grandfather built a house in the 60s that I've never seen another house like it since. The hallways were built on a curve, exactly like the hallways here. When I was a kid, I felt like I was on a track, and it was just really cool, and that has always stuck with me. I actually own that house today. And so just the curved nature of it, and Jeremy Gardner had a major hand in making the design what I saw in my head. I can't really say where I think banking is going. I can only tell you where I think our bank is going, and that is to disrupt somewhat the way that people have unnaturally gotten used to the way their banking relationship is. Relationship banking isn't something you put on a billboard or a sign just to say it. We spend time with our customers, we go to their homes, we go to their businesses, and they feel comfortable dealing with us. Banks have consolidated so much. 85% of community banks have closed since 1985. And we're one of the few that survived. So being innovative, knowing what's coming, being very technology focused. We have a CTO that is extremely brilliant at what he does, and it allows us to have really innovative products in technology. Banking is moving that way. There'll be less branches, but having the branch where a customer comes in is not going to go away. If somebody wants to borrow money or needs to speak with someone, you can't speak to a machine to get the type of service that you need. And so we're still going to be here providing those relationships for decades and decades to come.